Go Slowly Joe, a podcast of talks between mind and soul, while rambling between personal and real experiences, and also some hypothetical, bringing always a deep meaning about everything with inner connection, truth, and mindfulness. Welcome. Hello. Welcome to the episode number 43 of the Go Slowly Joe podcast. I hope you're very well. And I want to start telling you that if you're not well, that's totally fine. Today is actually one day where I feel a bit unsettled. And my emotions are kind of up and down. And I'm happy that I'm recording this episode. This is one part of my day where I'm feeling very happy. And I'm pretty sure that by the end of this episode, I'll feel even happier because I'm doing what I love and I'm communicating with you and I'm bringing this message to you. But I'm just telling you this right at the beginning because I want to let you know that we cannot, or real life is not only doing things when we are feeling extremely well. And to be honest, I think that a few years ago, when I started here in my journey, I was pretty sure that I would only have to do things when I was feeling extremely well and extremely on my highest version of my highest self. And sometimes you will not feel that way, and that doesn't mean that something is wrong with you, first of all, and that doesn't mean that the not so positive emotions are not welcome as well. And that doesn't mean that the things that you're going to say or that you're going to do are not going to be well done just because your emotions are a little bit unsettled, and maybe because you are actually welcoming confusing emotions inside of you, even the negative or the emotions that we usually associate with negative feelings. So that's totally fine. And of course, I'm not here crying and I'm not here mad at you or anyone. I'm just a little bit unsettled, but still, I really felt like that, you know what? Today is the day that I have, and the moment I have free to record this podcast. And I'm sure that I'm going to do my best, even though I'm not feeling at my best, at my very best. And I felt like this could be also a good message for you as well. Also for my previous self, the self that believed that only when I'm feeling at 100 or 200%, I can do something. And, I can still also do the things that I love when I'm not feeling at 100%. And sometimes even the things that I don't love so much. And of course, I try to be very compassionate with myself when I'm not feeling so well, and maybe choosing things that make me feel well. But for example, here recording the podcast is a moment where I always feel very happy and very relaxed. But at the same time, I also feel like I really want to be at my best. But this is the best that I can give you, considering my moment and the moment I'm living, or the day I'm having. And I didn't want to not record it just because of that. So yes, I believe this can be an important message as well. And also because, you know what, in my appointments and the people who write to me, and the people I even talk to in my professional and also in my personal life, I've been having so much feedback about the fact that people are not feeling well, and that I don't know, our life is changing, the way how we perceive life, the way how we perceive effort, the way how we perceive our jobs, our relationships. It's really changing a lot. And I don't know if it's sort of the time I'm living, or the people who are around me are maybe more or less in the same context of their lives, so in their 30s. But I feel like many people are really feeling that they are not at their 100% at all times. And I want to remind you that even if you are not there, you can still be yourself and you are still yourself. Remember that I think it's a Pixar movie, not a Disney movie, called oh my god. No, I actually forgot the name of the movie, but it's a kids movie, and there is joy, there is sadness. I'm gonna even look it up, to be honest. You know what, I don't care if you're actually looking at me right now. I really have to just look for it, because I'm sure that this will be important. Yeah, Inside Out. Okay, I just found it. So more reality than this you cannot get. Inside Out, this movie where there we see a kid. Now there is a new one which where she's an adolescent. Yes. And this kid, basically we are inside of this kid and living her emotions and seeing how her emotions play out with each other. And sorry, spoiler alert, but there is something like sadness really wants to be seen and really wants to be considered and really wants to be included. But joy, like that specific and very important and significant emotion, is really like strong, and she's really trying to tell sadness to just not show up and just be like um, to shush and not say anything, because she will make the kid even sadder, even more sad. So in the end, we really realize how important sadness is and how important it is for us to listen to our also negative emotions, or the emotions that bring us negative feelings, because in the end it's this, right? The emotions that bring us negative feelings, they are not really like negative emotions if we don't perceive them this way. But you know, this is reality, and sometimes it's like, oh my god, I wish I was not feeling this. But when we do this, we end up going into even more sad feelings, or even into even deeper emotions that sometimes are even harder to process. So I'm just bringing you this because I feel like it's important for us to also welcome. For me, my emotion today is a bit unsettled. I'm just not sure about many things, you know. This is my feeling. So but you know, I think it would be very unfair for me that I saved this time to record this podcast, and also for you, who, I don't know, but probably you are waiting for this episode. I think it would be very unfair for me, for my service, for the service I'm providing to the world, for you who are probably waiting for this service, not to have this just because I'm feeling unsettled, you know. And I'm even remembering this episode where I talk about laziness, right? If you are also feeling a little bit like this, like, oh, today I'm not feeling 100%, so I'm not going to do anything. Just go back to that episode, you know. And, you know, I'm the first one who criticizes my own feelings and my own way of dealing with my own emotions. So sometimes when I feel this way, I really go back to these sort of episodes, like sort of dealing with my own expectations, with laziness, enviousness, all these episodes, you know, that sometimes they bring, or where I brought certain reality checks. Sometimes I go back there. I don't listen to them again, but I go back there to the information I know I brought you, and I'm like, you know what, you need to deal with this yourself. And you need to do something. So if I would not be here just because I'm feeling unsettled, I would be lazy. I would be lazy in this very present moment. And I don't want to be there, you know, because it's a toxic relationship I told you about. So today I'm here, even though I'm feeling unsettled. But you know what? Even if I'm feeling unsettled, I have this sentence in my heart, in my mind, but came from my heart. I believe I've channeled it. Yeah, I believe I think that I haven't read it anywhere. I believe I've channeled it during one of my meditations. And it's been with me for a few days already, maybe weeks, or maybe more than 1 week. Yes. So I want to bring this to you anyways. I want to talk to you about arrogance and love. More even about arrogance, but sort of a consciousness of being arrogant versus being lovable or loving or living love in life. And I talk a lot about arrogance when I talk about family constellations in lives, or even here on the podcast, and even the way how I write. I talk about arrogance a lot since I became aware of this. And of course, family constellations brings me this consciousness. So what is this of being arrogant? Indeed, when we are arrogant, we are in this place of not accepting our own place. For me, this is the definition of arrogance. In the most clear way that I can bring you. It's you not accepting your own place. It's us not accepting our own place. We are arrogant when we judge someone because we are not accepting the fact that it's their lives. And I'm not saying that we cannot judge, okay? This is sort of a new age criticism about, oh no, you cannot judge. I think it even comes from religious points of view. Humans judge. This is something, okay? The only thing is that you can judge in a way of like, you know what? I wouldn't do that because I'm a different person, but I don't know what it is to be in that person's shoes, in that person's situation. So since I don't know, I can criticize enough inside of me knowing that I don't agree with that from my point of view, but I don't know what it is to be in that person's shoes. So I cannot be arrogant enough, or I cannot be arrogant in this context and just assuming that I will be completely different because I don't know what it is to be in that other person's shoes. So yes, we are arrogant when we don't accept our place, when we don't accept that the other person's life is different than ours, even if it is super similar. For example, siblings. Okay, we've been raised by the same parents in the same context. We studied in the same schools. Sometimes we even did the same university school, path. But we are still different people. And we have to start accepting this, that everyone is different. But yes, we are arrogant when we judge without knowing the context, and sometimes even because we just assume that we know everything about the other person and the other person's context, and many times and most of the times we don't. And most of all, we are arrogant when and this is also, of course, when we don't accept our own place. We are arrogant when we feel that the other person has to change for us. This is the biggest arrogance in life, that the other person has to change for us. And you see this a lot in, for example, love relationships, that you really expect for your partner to change for you. How did he or she still didn't change for me? But this comes from back then. This comes from our parents. This comes from the fact that we don't accept the fact that our parents are just the way they are, and that they had lives before having us, and that they were very brave to have us, even if we were planned or not, even if this was a decision that was well thought or not, they decided to have us. So being arrogant and even expecting, for example, for our partner to change for us really comes from the fact that we don't accept that our parents are the way they are. And you know what? I am telling you this with all my humility. You know, I'm super humble about this. I think that all my inner work will always have to do something with this. I think this is the core of our own processes, you know. It's self-love and not accepting ourselves as we are. But it's also, and when we don't accept ourselves as we are, it also comes from the fact that we don't accept our origins. And not accepting our origins, it means that we don't accept our parents as they are. And we will never love ourselves enough. We will never love our lives enough the way how they are, accepting life the way how it is, while we still don't accept that our parents came before us, that we came after them, that they have, in a hierarchy way, they have the highest place, or the higher place than us. And in family constellations and in systemic work, we can see many times that we as children, we don't leave our place because we feel that the other place is better. No, we leave our place when we feel like our parents need to be saved, when someone dies, for example, and we feel like that place is empty and we are the only available person to be there right now. For example, imagine that your mother, for example, went through depression and she was super sad every single day. You came home from school and she was sleeping. She was not available to you and to anyone. So you started bit by bit, first of all, feeling that you had to solve her life, that you had to make her happy. And if she was not happy, it was because of you, because children really take this responsibility on them. And maybe, for example, the place of your mom, and sorry, I'm going to be super patriarchal, but this is the most common situation. So, for example, the place of your mother to cook dinner for the family, for example, no one was doing it, or your father was also working, or he was not even present, for example. So you start doing this. You start doing laundry. And that doesn't mean that we cannot help our moms and our dads in this homework. It's not that, but I'm just bringing you an example that I feel it's very relatable. You know, it's quite relatable to me in some points, not in everything, but in some points, and I feel like it's very relatable to many people. And what I feel here is that. And what I'm trying to tell you here is that you didn't go to your mother's place, for example, just because you felt like, you know what, now I want to be the mother. No, it's because in some way, in some sadness, in some absence, there was a place and you felt like you could be there, and you being there, it would be good for everyone. So you went there because of love. You changed your place. You moved from your place to another place, to someone else's place, because of love, due to love. But you only keep being there due to your arrogance. And this is a sentence that I told you I channeled, or at least this is what I believe. Not making me or putting me in a guru's place. And this is hard. This is very, very, very hard for us to understand. Am I being arrogant? I'm not arrogant to anyone. I'm so humble. I take everyone into consideration. I'm so lovable. I'm so nice to everyone. I consider every single person and species in the world. You know, I know, but we are all arrogant in some point. You are arrogant in the moment when you decide that someone else has to change for you. Take your mother as an example, or your father. Maybe I will even bring this example from another point of view. I believe that most of the people that listen to these podcasts, they are but around my age, a little bit younger, a little bit older. Probably don't even have kids yet. Okay, so imagine you went through so much already in your life. You're listening to this episode because I'm sure you're working on yourself. And you've decided, or you will decide at some point, that you want to have a kid or not. But imagine that you will decide that you want to have a kid, or you just decided that. Can you imagine this little human being being born through you, or coming from your partner as well? And a few years later, start saying, you know what, mom, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. Or father, dad, can you believe, like, in your age, in this point of view, can you believe a little one bringing you this consciousness that you're not doing something wrong, or that you're doing something wrong, that you being who you are is something wrong? Children, let me bring you this disclaimer. Children will always bring new into a family, will always bring new ways of doing things. It's a new being, it's a new place. We all go and find new places in our lives when someone new is born in a family, also when someone dies. Okay, so of course, disclaimer, children will always bring new ways of doing things. They are the future of the world. It's important that we listen to them. Of course. this is not even something that I'm excluding. Of course, I would be very, very hypocrite if I would say this, especially because I love working with kids and adolescents. So they are super important for our society. And of course, the children will always teach something to their own systems, especially to their parents. However, there is something different between bringing new ways of doing things. Oh, you know what? I learned something new at school, or my friend does this differently, or in the house of my friend, they do it differently. They have dinner at a different time. It's okay. However, it's completely different that your child, or as children of someone, of our parents, saying, you know what? You cannot be this way. The way how you are is not right. And I'm not saying that we have to accept everything from our parents. No, we also have to educate people, including our parents, the way how we want to be treated. You know what? I know you are like this. I accept you the way you are. I love you as my father, as my mother, the way you are. However, for me, this doesn't work for me. The way how we are treating each other, the way how we are talking to each other, the way how you approach me, the way how you ask me for things or not, for example. However, I still accept you. And you accepting the other is a humble way of living. Whereas when you are super critic, or you're constantly criticizing your parents, to be honest, this will lead you nowhere, or this will lead you to places in life where you will not enjoy being there. Because first of all, life will keep on criticizing you. The ones around you will bring you this as a mirror. And also, you'll feel like you'll never be good enough. Because if your parents are not good enough for you, how can you be good enough for the world? You came from your parents. You are half your mother, half your father. And I know that we all have different stories. I know deep in my heart that there are so many things that are hard for us to accept from our parents. And we are here learning this constantly. I told you in the beginning, my inner work has been a lot about this. And sometimes I still go into therapy and I'm like, oh my God, am I still criticizing my parents because of this? Am I still expecting them to change because of me? The thing is, they can change. And to be honest, from my experience, people around you, including your parents, will change when they will see you also more in a more accepting way, when they will see you taking care of yourself because you love yourself so much. They will change as well. But the arrogance, and because we are talking about arrogance here, is you thinking that they will have to change because of you. Because you change, they also have to change. Because you are yourself, because you are whoever you decided to be, they also have to change, because now you have a career and you have a reputation, whatever. Now they also have to change because of you. And that's not true. Before being your parents, they are human beings. And I'm bringing you again this sentence. You move away from your place due to love, but you keep being there due to arrogance. This arrogance is what keeps you there. And when we are arrogant towards life, we expect others to change, which is the biggest arrogance in our life, but life will not move forward. We will be constantly lacking something. We will constantly be feeling that we don't receive enough love, that nothing is enough for us, that nothing is enough from us to others. And to be honest, accepting our parents, accepting where we came from, is not something easy. It's something that needs therapy. It's something that we can even say, but if you don't feel it, it's very hard. And for us to feel it, maybe you have to go into therapy, family constellations, maybe you have to find the core of not accepting. Okay, this takes time. Please let me tell you this. And before you going into, I really want to accept my parents, I know they did the best they could. It's true. But I see many people that they really want to believe in that, but it's still not in their hearts. So this episode is not for you to okay, for you to write down this sentence that I've channeled. It's not for you to write down the sentence of, I have to accept my parents. I have to accept my parents. No, it's for you to understand where you are being arrogant and just accept it. Accept, oh my God, I am indeed arrogant to think that my parents, who, I don't know, waited maybe 30 years to have me, or even less, which is even, to be honest, I believe it might be even harder. I don't know, because I don't have children yet and I'm 31. But I believe that considering the cultural differences even, and the hard times that the parents went through back then, I believe that having a child at like 21 years old, it probably wasn't easy. Maybe the first time you even were not living with your parents. I don't know, having hard times at your job and all this. So it's not like we have to leave this for them. But again, this is not also what our system wants. Our system wants us to evolve and to have bigger and better possibilities. But it's important for us to know that it was, they had a life before us. So it's not because of us that they have to change. They have to change because they want. So sit with that. Sit with this feeling of like, how is Joanna calling me arrogant? How is Joanna calling arrogant to herself? Because I'm also doing this to myself. Please let me do this disclaimer again, this humility moment. We are all quite arrogant. We are even arrogant to life, because of course this comes from from our parents, not my parents, but our parents. If we don't accept them, if we don't accept what they were for us, the way how they are, even after some work that they probably did or not, if we don't accept that this is who they are as people, it's hard. It really is hard. Life really is hard. And we don't accept even that our life sometimes is asking us for things. And I told you that many people have been telling me lately, you know what, Joanna, it has been a hard period for me. It hasn't been easy. Everything seems to be so kind of messed up. Identity crisis again, like the last episode. And I see that sometimes we are just not accepting what our life wants from us. And I know it's hard. I really do. But trusting life, it's also trusting where we came from. Trusting life is also trusting that, I cannot be arrogant about what I'm having here. You know what? I would have been arrogant if I was not sitting down here today to record this podcast for you, this episode of the podcast for you. I would have been very lazy and arrogant as well, because I would be like, you know what? I don't feel at my best. Let me just be here and being in my deep and unsettling emotions. Whereas I knew that I had a message to pass you. So why wouldn't I be doing this? I wouldn't be serving the world. And I'm so lucky that I'm able to do this, and that I feel like I have a voice and I've worked so much on it. I would be even arrogant in regards to my story, the story of not having a voice, of having a tumor in my thyroid, of not being able to talk, of being in a hospital bed for days and not feeling like myself, or of being taken, or of having to being taken care of by someone else, of not being able to work. So now I have to do this because I have a voice. And we are very arrogant sometimes in life. So sit with that. Sit with the fact that, oh my God, my inner child went there because my mom was not present, or she was hurting and I was the one who was there. And I kind of switched places with her. But now what's keeping me there is because I'm arrogant and I feel like she has to change because of me, because I'm her child. And again, I'm not saying that we have to accept everything that our parents do to us. No, I'm not saying that. Okay, please don't go into that victimization process as well. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm telling you is arrogance will stop your life, will stop your evolution, your development in life. Arrogance will keep you from achieving what you want. Arrogance will bring you lots of excuses. And again, don't just write down these sentences like, okay, I'm writing this down. Now I know that I have to accept my parents as they are. No, this takes maybe a whole life for us to take our parents in. And I believe that we are all earning money. We are all being asked to work on ourselves with the money that we earn even. It's one of the reasons why we work, why we are being paid. It's to be able to have the resources to work on ourselves. And our system is the one that is providing us with this. So yes, you will hear me a lot of times talking about arrogance, talking about being arrogant. I'm arrogant when I feel like I'm superior to others. I would be arrogant to sit down here and thinking that I know everything and you don't know nothing. No. Fortunately, my ego is not leading me there. I have to be here with a little bit of a leadership in a way because I'm bringing you a message. I have to bring my inner trust here. But I don't feel like I'm superior to you. I feel like we are in a journey. We all are. And I'm not more forward than you are. I'm just in my own road, in my own side of the road. And you might be even on the other side of the road and not even knowing this. So arrogance will not really allow us to move forward. This is what I would like for you to bring with you from this episode. Yes, I feel like this is what I want to bring you. Also, because I've written this sentence here, and I feel like this is also important in regards to arrogance versus love. Sometimes we really feel like others are failing us, and sometimes we become arrogant also because of that. This person is not doing enough for me. That person was never there for me. And can you feel this? Okay, so this is not love anymore. This is arrogance, because arrogance is keeping me also in the victimization place. And when we do this, we are failing ourselves. We are not failing the others who failed us or that we believe who failed us. No, we are failing ourselves by staying there. So I think that today, getting up and being here, even though I'm having unsettled emotions, I'm not failing myself. So I'm happy for that. I'm not being arrogant towards life, towards the opportunity I have to be here. Even just the fact that I have a microphone, even the fact that I have a laptop, that I have, I don't know how many lights I have around me so I can have enough light to look more or less well for you. So yes, the Portuguese word I want to bring you today is arrogância. So arrogance, let's give it a place, Arrogance also has its place, and sometimes it keeps us from being weak and being vulnerable and suffering with things. And as soon as we take a place, we take a time and the time to actually welcome and look arrogance into the eyes, we will actually know that arrogance is just a mask for our sadness, for the fact that we don't feel seen, for the fact that we don't feel loved, for the fact that something is not right. Try to do this exercise. When you see an arrogant person in your life, when you meet someone who's acting arrogant, try to look into her eyes or into his eyes and just see sadness, lack of love, lack of possibilities of being who he or she is really, truly. This is what's behind the arrogance that we all have at some point in life. So thank you so much for listening, especially today. And I'll see you soon. And also, sorry, I feel like I'm almost about to end at all times. I felt this 2 or 3 times, but there is also a reason why I brought you this today, apart from the fact that I've channeled this sentence a few weeks or days ago, I don't know. This might be useful for your Christmas. I hope it is, that you can honor the moments maybe where you've been arrogant, and maybe switching arrogance for, you know what, let me just look at my mom or my dad just being who they are, you know? Maybe they are arguing. Okay, let me see this from the positive side. At least they are just honest. They are not happy about something. This is who they are. Or they are not present. Okay, this is bigger than them. They cannot be present right now. It's who they can be right now. Who can I be right now? Maybe start looking at ourselves first. Might be the answer. Thank you so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you, each and every one of your comments, each and every one who is here and who's learning to live life with me, not through me, but with me, because I'm also learning. I send you a huge hug of the best energies, lots of joy, lots of yes, the possibilities that you can have right now from love, not from arrogance. And I'll see you soon.